But if you look ahead into Galatians, and this is Paul, who was the writer of Galatians, and he was talking here, and he began to talk about Peter. And this is from Galatians chapter 2. And it says, "But when Peter came to Antioch, I, Paul, had to oppose him to his face, for what he did was very wrong." First of all, who would have liked to have been a fly on the wall to have seen that? By the way, Peter and Paul, and they have this clash over Paul is saying, "I had to correct Peter." Wow, I would like to have seen that. I don't want to be there. I just want to see it, right? Because I'm not sure how that would have come out. But it says, "I had to oppose him to his face, for what he did was very wrong. When he first arrived, he ate with the Gentile believers who were not circumcised. But afterward, when some friends of James came, Peter wouldn't eat with the Gentiles anymore. He was afraid of criticism from these people who insisted on the necessity of circumcision. As a result, other Jewish believers followed Peter's hypocrisy." Wow, Peter's hypocrisy, in the words of Paul. Peter, who had gone to Cornelius, who had watched people give their lives to Jesus, Gentile believers, this was after that. Historically speaking, this that Paul was talking about in Galatians was after that vision that Peter had with Cornelius. Wow, what happened? Peter began to hang with people that didn't have the same revelation that he did about that. He began to let people tell him what he should be thinking. He began to feel the pressure of what was happening around him. He began to feel the pressure of the culture around him, even the culture within the church. And it was no longer comfortable for him to be with the Gentiles anymore. No longer comfortable. We're on a journey. We are on a process. And just because we've received revelation about something, if we do not stay on guard, the enemy will come and he will steal that away from us. And he will try to pull us back into where we're comfortable, right? And where we've been before. Romans 12:2, "Don't copy the behavior and the customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect."